Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar this morning on our what we're calling the smooth transition to GreenChip. So I'd just like to introduce the panelists and people we have here at our meeting this morning. I am Larry Gindorf, Executive Director of the Morris County Municipal Utilities Authority. And to my right, I have Steve Adams, our Household Hazardous Waste and Vegetative Waste Coordinator. To his right, we have Chris Kaasmann, Vice President of Compliance with GreenChip. And to his right, we have our Anthony Marone, who is our Recycling Coordinator. So with that, I welcome everyone. I appreciate everyone's time this morning about our transition to utilizing GreenChip recycling for our e-waste. Just so everyone knows that, let me just go over a few rules for the webinar. First of all, this is a webinar, so we have everyone muted at this point. So Peter, I just see you asked, can I unmute you? I can't unmute you at this point because then everyone gets unmuted and it sounds like the middle of a subway on this webinar. So for the purposes of getting through what we need to tell you, we prefer to keep everyone muted at the end of the webinar. We will unmute everyone, see how that sounds, see if we could take verbal questions. In addition, there is a chat room. Good morning, Kellyanne. There is a chat room and we will be able to submit questions via chat if you want. So with that, I would like to just start sharing my screen and bring up a PowerPoint we presented. Okay, hopefully everyone can see that PowerPoint. And so with that, I'm going to switch the next slide. So why are we here? It's a good question. The Morris County Municipal Utilities Authority has been under contract with MRM, Manufacturers Recycling Market, something like that. It's what MRM stands for. We've dealt successfully with them. They've been handling Morris County's e-waste for probably 25 years now, and we really have not had a problem with it. But much like many of the things we purchase in New Jersey, we had to go through a proper procurement for the handling of the e-waste the Morris County Municipal Utilities Authority handles, as well as the programs that have piggybacked on our contract that MRN handled in the past. So we went out for procurement on June 27th. Proposals from firms were due to the MUA in response to our e-waste procurement, and we received 5 responses, of which MRM submitted 1 response, GreenChip submitted a response, as well as 3 other firms. The MUA team reviewed it, which included Steve to my right, myself, and James, who's on my left, who just walked in. And our review of the proposals based on the capability of the company as well as their price proposal led us to award a contract at our July 11th meeting to GreenChip e-waste and ITAD solutions. What's GreenChip for short? We'll say from now on.
Yep.
So GreenChip for short, we'll call them from now on. So anyway, on July 11th, a week ago, the Morris County MUA passed a resolution awarding our contract to GreenChip. So what does that mean for the towns? Many of the towns had utilized or piggybacked on the MUA's contract with MRM in the past to have their e-waste needs recycled. We included all those services in our RFP that GreenChip responded to and was awarded. And so we have the ability to provide all those same e-waste collection services, including providing of containers, providing of collection, as well as providing a new rebate that is a higher amount than we've ever been able to achieve before. So with that, we are executing a contract with GreenChip as we're speaking, about to get the paperwork finalized. So that is the reason for the late notice on all of this. We really didn't know who the contract was going to be awarded to, if it was going to go to one of the 5 firms that submitted, but we didn't know until July 11th when the board actually adopted the resolution. So we apologize for the late turnaround and all the letters you may have received from different people about what's going on with our e-waste. So that's why we're here today. And with that, I think I'm going to hand it over to Chris, 2 seats to my right, to start explaining about what services they could offer you and how to transition between your existing program into the new GreenChip program, which should be pretty similar to what you're experiencing, but to do it in a clean, smooth, transitionary fashion. So with that, I'm going to hand it to Chris, and feel free, Chris, if you have questions for us, to pepper us if you're not sure about something, and hopefully we could work on the answers for everyone together.
Great. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it. Hi, everybody. Look forward to working with you and talking with you as we move forward with this transition. Just a little bit about GreenChip and myself as before we get really into the details. So GreenChip is based in Brooklyn. We also have a location in Northern Virginia, where we are certified to recycle and collect electronics. We're currently working with over 50 municipalities and counties in New Jersey, including Bergen County and Essex County. Myself, prior to joining GreenChip approximately a couple of years ago, used to manage e-waste compliance for Samsung nationwide. Samsung has its headquarters here in New Jersey, so I'm very familiar with the New Jersey state law and all the other state laws that require manufacturers to recycle electronics. That being said, I live in Hackettstown. My kids attend Westmore schools, and I'm in Morris County all the time, and it's an easy thing for me to come out and be close. If there's issues or if there's questions, could easily be on site within a few minutes. Drive to you. That being said, our solution for managing the municipalities is to be as seamless and as easy as possible, meaning the current program that you have will be maintained the same program. So how you're collecting it, how you package it is going to be maintained the same. The cool thing about what GreenChip is doing and the service that we offer is it's our trucks, our employees that are coming out, and that material is being transferred to our recycling facility where we're doing soup to nuts. We have shredding operations and really liberating the materials down to the commodity level. So there's no in between, there's no middleman. GreenChip is doing it from A to Z. So that being said, we would like to kind of sort of get an idea of the situation moving forward. We know that there's containers out there with the different towns that might be owned by other companies. So an idea of which containers need to be swapped out. I foresee that probably would be the only potentially the biggest hurdle, at least initially, to address. That's really the main I guess goal is to kind of figure out which sites have containers and where we need to deliver those containers, and then it's business as usual as you've been doing it. And we could certainly get into questions about what that looks like. The other thing I know that's sometimes difficult, I'm in the process right now of putting together all our New Jersey DEP semi-annual reports for the first half of 2023. So we do assist you with those and help provide those documents so that you can notify the state as to what you've collected by category. So if you want to
go to the next one.
Yeah, go to the next slide there. Sure. And my colleague Lee is also on the line. I think he's probably muted, but if there's questions or whatever, he can jump in as well. So here's, I think, probably what everybody wants to know is the pricing that GreenChip is offering. I'll just run through it real quick. So on computers and laptops, we're going to pay, and this is the pricing that we put forth in the RFP that was accepted by the Morris County MUA. 50.6 cents per pound for computers and laptops, 6.16 cent per pound on LCD and flat screen monitors and TVs, 10.5 cents per pound for printers, and 6.1 cents per pound for CRT televisions. Now, something that's kind of unique to GreenChip's proposal, certainly we would like to focus on collecting covered electronic devices, because that's material that we work with the manufacturers in the state for their compliance with the law. However, if you do collect non-CEDs, the things that are not covered by the law, we will pay you 1 cent per pound on that material. And that's something that's new and different, that I think is unique to GreenChip's proposal. For every pickup that we provide, that we do, we are going to provide you with a certificate of recycling. We're going to issue you a rebate based on that pricing schedule per pickup. And again, like I mentioned, we're going to be assisting you with the New Jersey DEP semi-annual reports. And just as an example, I was able to get data from the second half of 2022, and I punched in a few towns, and that's what that chart is at the bottom. So you can see actual pounds, and we know that MRM was going out to you individually and offering an additional price that they did not provide on the RFP. So we kind of did a little comparison, and even with that additional price, GreenChip, the difference is in GreenChip's favor. So we really, I mean, from a pricing perspective, we believe we're competitive, and we want to provide the best service that we can.
So let me clarify this. So just people in the audience, so you know the prices that came in our RFP that we award to GreenChip. The MRM pricing that they gave us was under half of what the GreenChip proposal was. Then apparently MRM's been going out to everyone offering prices outside our contract in an effort to, I guess not lose you as a customer, trying to make that price seem significantly better than what you're currently offering. But the numbers you're showing on the screen is based on the MRM proposals they've been sending out to the towns?
Yeah, that we're, I guess, aware of, it was a 13 cents per pound. So that's what that number is baked into the formula there. And then the GreenChip rebate, we use our exact per category to come up with those numbers, right? So it's really, I mean, you look at Jefferson, it's almost the same, depending on, because we're paying so much in computers. If you collect valuable material, you're going to get paid as much, if not more, than the other option.
Gotcha. That makes sense. You want to take some questions at this point?
Could we maybe unmute Lee and see if Lee has thoughts?
I'm going to stop the presentation at this point so I can get back to, let me see if I could get Lee up, who is the partner of Chris here.
There he is.
Where is he? Okay, Lee, I'm going to try to unmute you. See if you have anything to add.
Larry.
Oh, there you are, Lee.
Perfect. Very well. Thank you for taking the time for the meeting and introduction there, Chris. We're really excited to be working with all the sites here in the county and making sure that it's a seamless transition. And you know, Chris did a really good job of an overview of our services here. And, you know, one thing I did want to point out too, you know, with our payment schedule there is we are actually, you know, paying as soon as we, you know, pick this material up. We do weekly check runs, so you're not waiting on a payment. That payment's coming, you know, directly to you there. And it's efficient, and, you know, both Chris and myself are available at any time to, you know, answer any questions or concerns with the program.
Appreciate that, Lee. So with that said, I'm sure people have plenty of questions. I think I am going to open up the unmute everyone. So everyone, please do me a favor and be prepared to mute yourself, especially if you think you're in a noisy environment, because I am about to, I think, unmute everyone. Actually, you know what? I see a bunch of questions in chat. So let me answer, let me see if we could address the chat questions first. If I could figure out how to use my thing here. Oh, there's Leon.
There's Lee.
Yeah, I didn't realize my video was also stopped. Apparently, you're knocking everything out from us.
Yes,
There's
your
your
first
first
question
question
from Bill Island.
Okay, from Bill Island, who's the recycling coordinator of Dover and Victory Gardens, I believe. What size containers can you provide? Larry, can you email us Chris's contact information? So when you talk about the containers and what sort of
Yeah.
containers you have.
Sure. So the container size will be the same as what you currently have. If you have space for a larger container, we can certainly work with you and provide a larger container. That way we know that when we're coming out to your site, we're maximizing the amount of material that we can get on a truck. Additionally, because we have trucks on the road already throughout New Jersey, and because we're going to be concentrated in Morris County through this contract, it could be one of those things where we're, just running around to the different towns on a milk run. So that way you're not getting backed up. There's no material spilling out of the container. We're constantly staying on top of it. So that container question is really relative to the specific location in town.
And as far as the contact info, you might as well speak it out now, and we'll try to send it out to everyone also in some sort of formal guidance or notice. Somehow we'll put together a little fact sheet on this whole following this. I think that will help to send out to everyone following this, and we'll provide everyone's contact information and other information that we gleaned from this session. But why don't you tell what your...
Sure, yeah. So email, I'm available by email or phone. My email and Lee's email is very simple. It's our first name at greenchiprecycling.com. So Chris, CHRIS at greenchiprecycling.com. And Lee is LEE at greenchiprecycling.com. My cell phone is 848-828-0005. And Lee, I don't have yours memorized.
Say that again. 848?
828.
848-828?
Correct.
828
0005.
0005. Kaasmann?
You got it.
That's not easy.
Double A.
Okay, there you go.
And then, in addition, as a follow-up on Bill and Kellyanne's question, so yeah, we by standard will provide, the 20-foot Sealand, container, as Chris mentioned. If you have something larger like a 40 on site now, or potentially have a need for it, we can also discuss doing that as well. And we would provide all the Gaylord ballot boxes, packaging material that be required to, organize that material, like you were asking there, Kellyanne.
Yeah, there's also a question about if and when MRM takes their box, will they remove the contents, or are they just going to dump it on the ground and have the need to be reloaded? I can't say I know that answer offhand, but I would think MRM is in the business to get every pound of material they can at this point, and will be eager to ship everything off-site. And I would doubt that out of vengeance, they will just take their box and dump everything on the ground and leave you high and dry. That's just my gut sense on it. Any thought about it? I mean, you've been in contact with Frank from MRM, right, Steve?
So from speaking to Frank the past 2 weeks, my understanding with the containers being pulled, it's starting to look like it's entirely contingent upon what the individual towns decide to do. I think there's a decision that they're waiting on, because if they feel that you're going to stay with MRM, they're going to keep their container there. So in the interest of keeping the transition smooth, if you do intend to stay with the MUA under our contract, which we hope is your decision, I think it would behoove everybody if you can communicate that to Chris and Anthony and myself, because if we know that you're staying with us, that means your container will be pulled. We can plan ahead and have a container ready to be lined up and dropped right in at your depot. I know Chris and I have discussed making ourselves available in the coming weeks for site visits. If you want us to come on site and meet with you in person, look at how your facility is set up, so Chris knows what he's getting into. We're here for that.
Yep, we want to make it, I mean, the rollout of this transition should be as seamless to you as possible, and that is our goal for both GreenChip as well as the MUA. We don't want to make it a pain for anyone.
Yep.
Okay, there's a question also about providing Gaylord boxes to house the material within the container. Do you work that way?
Yes. Well, if you're currently using Gaylords to help segregate and sort the material, we will provide the Gaylords and the pallets for them to go on.
Okay, someone asked, was the price MRM offered? That was 13 cents a pound in their revised pricing after the emails. So that was MRM's 13 cents overall pricing for all materials. And as that chart that Chris showed before, based on the standard breakouts of the materials you get, the GreenChip proposal is still better than the MRM proposal.
The other thing I would mention is it incentivizes you to collect and take care of the valuable material, which is computers and laptops. The more of that material you collect, the more money that will be going.
So don't let people pull that out or like some
Right,
party
correct.
person come in.
Correct.
So so if you keep that valuable stuff, you'll get paid that much more.
And then the additional 1 cent per pound on whatever non-compliant material, it's something, but it could add up.
And while you're mentioning the non-CEDs, Margie asked, what are those?
Yeah, Lee, you want to take that one?
Yeah, in terms of the non-CEDs, so currently, the state basically categorizes, televisions, computers, laptops, monitors, etc. And things like your cable boxes, your VCRs, your speakers, those generic kind of household appliances that you would have, like your coffee maker or toaster. No like large white goods or anything along those lines, but just your general small household electronic devices and peripherals for your IT equipment.
Yep, and we could provide a list that helps guide all the towns on that material. That would
Well, it's
probably
not
be-
as inclusive as anything with a plug in it, like some people
right.
often say. It's not that, but a list would be helpful. Another thing I want to clarify is while you'll be getting paid for the non-covered electronic devices, we do not want to change our promotional material or our guidance to the general public and still want to focus the general public on bringing covered electronic devices only to these sites. This is just a little,
It's a value add.
beak wetter value added thing that GreenChip is adding, but we do not want to try to encourage the general public to bring non-covered materials to us. So we want to stick with our current guidance on these boxes are only for the covered material, and we're not going to start advertising that. Bring everything to us just because you're getting a penny a pound?
Yeah.
Okay, a penny a pound. So I just want to clarify that was still targeting the covered stuff, but at least there's nothing to worry about being penalized for the non-covered stuff from a financial perspective, and you will get that penny a pound.
Yeah, and we're understanding too, right? You can have the best laid plans, and sometimes the residents will come in and they'll put something in there that you don't like. We're not here to, ding you on that. We're here to work with you and help you when those situations do happen. And I saw a few other questions here as well with regards to, the Gaylords and swapping the containers. And, I know under the current contract, MRM utilizes subcontractors, and some of them might be swapping boxes, some of them might be using Gaylords and passes. So towns have different services right now. Currently, what our format is, we provide the Gaylords. We're not expecting you to sort all the items into different specific categories, but essentially just fill up the boxes with the materials. Our service truck would come out with our uniformed employees. We would do an unload of that container and leave you with fresh, empty boxes, and then rinse and repeat.
Exactly.
Yep. Let me keep going down the questions. Are they switching out boxes or unloading them? I think you just answered that. What's the length of the contract with GreenChip? It is currently a 3-year contract with 2 potential 1-year extensions. Assuming that the GreenChip's going to be running well, I can't imagine we're not going to extend those. So it's a 3 to 5 year contract, but it's likely to be 5 years starting this July. So 5 years from this July, it should terminate. Let me see if I have more questions. Okay, question about someone currently loads directly into a container and MRM takes it as is going to be different. I guess the answer is no. It's going to be whatever good
It's
for you.
going to be the same. Our employees will come out and package the material and remove it, however you're staging it.
Yeah, Al has a sea shipping container that for revival. So they throw everything in and there's no gaylords or anything.
Okay.
So his will change if he switches over.
Okay.
Got our first request for a site visit.
Okay. Kellyanne wants a site visit. Okay.
Sounds good.
You don't have to sort, Erica, you don't have to sort your items. Just get them into the boxes and then they get sorted once they reach Brooklyn, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And that's how they figure out what materials from your specific site came in. Of course, you've got everything in Gaylord's marked from every site. that you
Correct,
get
yeah.
On your box, okay.
Every site will get a unique identifier with that particular lot or pickup, and that will help keep track of it on the back end.
Okay, Marge, I think that's a CED list you're asking for?
And non-C, yes.
Yeah, non-CED, sorry. CED is an easy list. Will the county handle going from MRM or do we have to? I don't know what that question is referring to, Peter, but let's talk about payment first of all. In the past, I believe the small amount of payment you received from MRM was paying all the municipalities directly. GreenChip's prepared to do that also, just to issue the checks directly to the town. Just need to exchange contact information, I assume, and where to send the check. I assume GreenChip, from what I hear, will be paying on a much more timely basis than MRM did in the past. That's more of your business practice than MRM's. But if someone is not comfortable with the payment going from GreenChip to the town and you would prefer that pass through to go to the MUA, have GreenChip pay us for your town and then have the MUA cut you a check on our monthly cycle, or maybe quarterly, to be honest with you, I could make that option available to anyone. So whatever easiest for the towns. I would think it should be easiest just getting a check right from GreenChip, but if for whatever reason your purchasing department or finance department doesn't want to work that way and they want to do a shared services thing between us and the MUA, we're happy to figure that out with you, if that makes sense. Okay, let's go over the phone numbers again. Okay, Lee put in his phone number, which is 845-796-6527. And that is Lee, I'm going to try to say your name, Srope.
I say don't bother.
And Chris, what's your phone number again?
848-828-0005.
Okay, there you go. Has MRM provided dates when they will remove their containers? So as Steve, why don't you go over that again?
Yeah, so Tom, just to respond to your question, I have asked Frank twice now if he has a concrete list of what containers they own and what dates they intend to pull them on. I think he's still investigating ownership for some of the towns, but as far as pull dates, I think Frank is waiting to hear what all the towns decide to do. So if you stick with the county, he's probably going to pull your container. If you go with MRM, your container will remain on site. So he's hedging his bets essentially. That's why I said before, and I'll say it again, if you do make the choice to stick with the MUA and join us in our contract with GreenChip, let us know first so we can plan ahead and have a container lined up and ready to drop in. It'll get you the best turnaround on the timing.
Yeah, we've already put the wheels in motion to procure and secure the containers. So hopefully once we know, we can get out, as our goal is to get out there as soon as possible so that there's really no interruption in service.
Okay, I think I'm gonna try the unmute of everyone. Let me see if I could do it. That's all the written questions we have. Oh, I don't think I could unmute everyone in bulk, thank God. So I'm gonna start unmuting people and you can unmute yourself. Actually, I'm giving you the ability to unmute yourself and ask a question. So if anyone has questions, I'm beginning the process.
I think we just got the vote of confidence from Mr. Ashman.
Oh. I'm not sure if I'm unmuting everyone. So if anyone has questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Otherwise, I'm going to have Chris just keep talking about some of the processes you go through and how the material gets handled while people may have a few questions.
Yeah, sure. So GreenChip has been around for about 11 years. Our parent company does scrap metal and construction and demolition aggregate in Brooklyn. We opened up a larger processing facility, 65,000 square foot processing facility in Fredericksburg, Virginia, in the midst of COVID in 2020. What's really cool about it is we own our own destiny with as far as the processes that we employ there. We're actually on site shredding things like flat panel TVs, printers, computers. So all the data is being destroyed. With CRTs, we're actually breaking the glass. There's a leaded glass component to CRTs. So we're breaking the glass and separating the clean glass from the what we call the funnel glass and shipping that to a smelter. So it's really end of life processing at our facility in Virginia. I don't know, Lee, if you want to add to what I'm saying, but it's really been a fun company to be a part of. We're growing our business. We do business all the way down from Florida, all the way up into New England and stretch out to the Midwest. We've got a great team, family-run company. It's been really, really great to get to know Lee and Bill and Lila and the rest of the team that I'm sure you'll get to know as we go forward.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And yeah, to Chris's point, we're actually, a true recycler, in the sense we actually process everything down to the commodity level in-house. A lot of people in this industry are aggregators, consolidators, where they then just ship the material downstream to someone like us who does end-of-life processing. So we, cradle to grave, control our processes, our, destiny. So it allows us to be a lot more competitive, with the rates that we are able to offer. We don't have a middleman. There's no third-party fees. It's directly with us.
Correct.
Yeah, it's an impressive aspect of your company, the way you handle it from your own truckers, your own people who collect it, bring it back to your own facility in Brooklyn, ship it down to your sorting facility
Right.
in Virginia. It's all in the hands of one company, which is nice. Okay, Kellyanne asked question, I see. How are you going to handle DEP reporting?
Sure. So we will consolidate all the material by category for you. We have the semi-annual report form, so we'll fill out that form to you, send that to you in a timely manner. So first half of this year is due end of this month. So usually 1 to 2 weeks prior to the due date for DEP is when you'll get the report from us, so that you can ask us any questions, check it against what you've been issued along the way, and then send that off to DEP. And we could certainly talk more details about that.
Sure.
If it needs to be talked about, but our goal is to make it as easy as possible for you.
And likewise, we typically post that stuff on our website on an annual basis, not the semi-annual reports. Is that the way we typically
The
do it?
semi-annual reports, Frank used to send them to the towns directly, and then
Okay.
he'd send us a copy if they didn't get them.
Okay.
It seems like you would do the exact same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The annual reports are what we post for tonnage reports on our
Okay.
municipal coordinator website.
If we're going with GreenChip further, does a municipality need to do regarding both companies? I assume you have to talk to both companies, tell MRM you're going with GreenChip, and they'll pull out your container and tell us coordinate with us also. Now, I think it's best that we get some sort of, we need to create some sort of like information form that we could send out to everyone with people's contact information. And then I think it's going to be a matter of GreenChip more so coordinating with the municipalities directly to figure out timing on when they want the closeout. So I would think it would be best to give a confirmation to Chris saying is like, hey, we're sticking with you. We have a 20-yard or a 40-yard container of this sort. If you need a site visit, let them know. Otherwise, coordinate a swap out. And then you need to contact MRM also and let them know also that you're going with GreenChip, that they have to pull their container. They're going to want to pull their container probably as quickly as possible. I think they pay rent on quite a bit of those, a few of those containers. So MRM probably wants to know also, so they could do a final collection and pull the container. And I think that's the way it's going to work.
Chris, can I hit you with a hypothetical question?
Sure.
So if we get a call from a town, they say, hey, our container disappeared this morning. We've got TVs on the ground. Do you have a rough turnaround time of how quickly you can get a container to that town? Not holding you to the fire.
Yeah,
people can
so,
plan ahead
I mean,
for the
we
worst
put the wheels in motion. I'm hoping within a 1 to 2 weeks. Lee, do you have a?
Yeah, it would be within, 5 days we can get a container, right? And if you're kind of left right high and dry where you don't even actually have, a place and you're storing things like on the ground on site, let us know too. Like we said, we have trucks in there. We could have someone come by, pick up your stuff that's loose on the ground while we're waiting for the container. And that said too, if your sites have the capacity, the space to have a second container right now, in addition to your current one, we could get it dropped if you have the space for 2 containers. And then this way, there's no worry about, the timing of the
transition,
swaps.
yeah.
If you have the space, we're happy to get one to you right away.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Chris, I have a simple question. Love the hairdo.
Thank you. You're off screen. They can't see you, but I'm sure they've seen you before.
So simple question. We need a pickup. Is it a simple email to you?
Yeah. So you can email me. We have a logistics manager who runs all of our trucks and our dock appointments. We can connect you with that person as well. And it's just email, phone, whatever's easiest for you, really.
And obviously you want a full box as much as you can.
As much as possible. We're in the business of volume, so we want to maximize it, the material that's on the truck. But again, if you got something going on, let's just say you have an event with in your DPW yard and you want to get cleaned out, we can come by for a few $1,000 and then just piggyback and do a milk run. So we'll get a couple £1,000 here and then fill the truck up with the neighboring municipality.
And last question, the turnaround time, email, we need to pick up. What's the usual turnaround time for?
Yeah, so I think it was in the in the contract that we said within 7 business days. Usually we're out there much sooner than that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's all the questions I see. If anyone, I'll give it another couple of seconds if anyone wants to try to speak and or type a question in. And while we're doing that, I do see that Patty and Al had their hands raised. I don't know if that's because they're trying to speak or not, or we answered the questions. Hopefully we did. But I just want to thank Lee and Chris for working with us as well as working with the towns to make this transition from our old company MRM, who once again, we had no problems with them over the years. They actually provided great service for us, and it's kind of sad to see them go, but we're looking forward to a new future with GreenChip, with Chris and Lee. And I think from what I hear and what I've experienced and why we selected them, we don't think we'll have any problem securing and servicing the towns in Morris County with this team. They seem wonderful, and I expect nothing but the best. So you got,
Yeah, Al.
oh, can you compare numbers as you did for can you compare our numbers? That would be a specific town if you want to.
Sure, we could do that.
So that's Long Hill, who asked? I don't know if you want to do all.
What I don't have visibility to is the number of non-CEDs you collected. So that's going to be an additional dollar amount that
Yeah.
that would get added
And-
to whatever number I provide.
I have that. That's
Oh,
the
you
list.
actually have that?
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, okay. So we will work with GreenChip on getting numbers for all the towns that had previous used MRM. We won't be able to get them for any town that didn't use MRM. Now, let me ask you that question while we're here. A town that didn't have MRM, and if they want to join your program through our contract. and they
Absolutely.
Request, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so even if you weren't part of the MRM contract in the past, and just so you know, there were 27 municipalities, I believe, out of the 39 that were part of the
26.
26.
Yeah.
So if you're one of the couple that use some of the other companies and you prefer to piggyback on our contract using GreenChip, feel free to do so. They are, as Chris said, in the volume business. So at this point in 2023, they're looking for volume. So any one who wants to jump ship to GreenChip, feel free to do so. And now it's my time to stop the rhyme and call the end to this meeting. So anyway, I want to thank Anthony, Chris, Steve, myself. I don't know, I'm thanking myself, James to my left, as well as Lee on the screen over there. And any questions, forward them to Steve. He's our contact person on this transition, and or Chris, and wish us luck. I don't think we'll need it, but I think we'll have a good time with this. Have a good day. Anything else? Hey, James, how about those Mets? Okay. One way to rub it in before we leave. So,
Thanks, everybody.
okay. Be well, everyone, and thanks again for your time.
Thank you.